drug shortages at right now in America. Just talking U.S. I don't know much more across the scope as far as pharmaceuticals go, but there are 116 different pharma drugs in the U.S. that are very, very short supply. I believe, let's see if I can make that number. There are 165 entries on the list right now, but 49 of them have been resolved for the time being, which leaves us with 116. So if you depend upon a certain pharmaceutical drug in order to stay alive, or something that's very crucial to you, I'd recommend doing whatever you can. It's just a recommendation. I'm not giving advice, but this is what I recommend those around me, those I love, to make sure you have enough of that pharmaceutical drug stockpiled as possible, as much as you can. Much of our drug production has been outsourced to China, which is why we're here. Today, 97% of all antibiotics purchased in the United States come from China. That's 97% of all antibiotics come from China. Nationwide, more than 100 drugs are in short supply, including antibiotics, diuretics, opioids, and heart failure medications. And this goes across the board, and FDA data is showing this also. So I got a quote from someone. She says, if China shut the door on exports, medicines, and their key ingredients and raw materials, U.S. hospitals and military hospitals and clinics would cease to function within months, if not days. Her name is Rosemary Gibson, author of the book on this subject, China RX. Other generic drugs whose key ingredients are manufactured in China include medicines for blood pressure, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, epilepsy, and depression. I mean, those are all key ingredients for those drugs are all manufactured in China. We can't make penicillin here in the U.S. The last penicillin plant in the United States closed in 2004. We can't make it, period. So I got another someone talking from an article. A lot of times people don't grasp what's taking place and how it affects them personally. In recent weeks, I've gotten emails from numerous readers about the issues that they are encountering, their local pharmacies. In the old days, getting drugs that were prescribed was a snap. But now, there are times when people have had to wait weeks or even months to get their drugs. Okay, that's now. That's not talking a shutdown because of the supply chain stuff we have going on right now, because 97% comes from China, like I talked about. If you still believe that this is temporary, you haven't been paying attention at all. I mean, it's not just the drug shortage that's temporary. It's everything supply related. It's not temporary. I mean, there's no fix being worked on right now. There's no movement towards a fix, a solution. There's only movement to more lockdown and more stoppage, that kind of stuff right now. There's friction between, you can see that, the citizens and governing bodies, or at least think they're governing bodies. So anyways, I am saying this stuff just to get people aware, that kind of stuff. Also, my whole take on it is, I'm like, well, I tell people maybe try to find natural ways. Maybe there's herbs, maybe there's something else out there that people had taken in the past. I'm talking 100 years ago, maybe 70 years ago, that benefited them. And they switched to a pharma drug just because that's what they were told to do. And because, the ingrainment, the instillment, the detonation from schooling and teachers and adults and all that stuff as you're growing up say, this Western medicine is the best, so why take these herbs or these spices or these XYZ, that's all natural. Take this pharmaceutical thing that pharma bases all their stuff off of these things that come from, nature, off of these herbs, off of these plants, off of this stuff, and they try to repeat it and replicate it and make it as good as the nature stuff is, but they can't But at least they can patent it. Then they can make money on it because you can't patent nature. So I don't know. I just tell them, why can't you find natural ways? People are seeing how beneficial marijuana is for a whole plethora of things out there nowadays, and people are benefiting tremendously from it. That was always there, but it was shut out from our government. Yes, those people who say it's for your safety, it's for your benefit, those people, yeah, those are the ones. Shut it out and are still resisting on the federal level. So I don't know. I'm just saying this stuff. I try myself not to do anything or believe anything that's Rockefeller medicine. That's what I call Western medicine, Rockefeller medicine, because that's where it came from. Look up the Flexner report. Look up, because of Flexner and his whole report, that's how they got this pushed through, because that's what Rockefeller wanted. So medicine is Rockefeller medicine. It's not Western medicine. It used to be Western medicine. Now Rockefeller took over and calls it still Rockefeller, or calls it still Western medicine, but it's nothing like Western medicine used to be. That was natural. This is Rockefeller medicine. So I'm just saying, I do understand emergencies. People need life-saving things, that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm saying this. If there's a pharmaceutical drug out there that you need to have on hand in case of emergency, EpiPen, that kind of stuff, or anything blood pressure, stroke-wise, stuff you're on just to support yourself, stay alive, that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm saying. Maybe now's the time you want to make sure you have a good amount of it, a good stockpile somehow, somewhere of it. Because if you can't get it, doesn't matter how much money you have, you can't get it. So, I don't know. And I know people don't want to rely on these things, but if they are relying on these things, that is a life or death situation. If they're going to stop it, stop taking these things, and move to a better lifestyle, diet-wise, or try to find natural ways for it, great. But as of now, it's a life-saving thing right now because they've been on it so long, or because of their situation. I can't attest to anything, but I'm just putting it out there because I know that stuff exists and people are dependent on this kind of stuff, and that's harsh if you have a dependency, life, living, or some other way, just feeling better, getting around, get by, the struggles, and it's not there to get anymore, doesn't exist, or they shut it down, or it's just not available because of shipping, that kind of stuff. That's a serious issue. So that's why I'm putting this out there, just to get people thinking and react to however you're going to react. I don't know. React to what's going to benefit you and yourself. If you have someone in your family or a friend that has an ear that wants to hear this and says, hey, maybe I have an idea, maybe I can help, maybe I can lend a hand. It's just something to think about, because I read this and I'm like, I had no idea the shortage, and I had no idea 97% of everything for our pharmaceutical drugs comes from China. That's a huge deal with this whole supply chain stuff going on, and what's going on with the China government and the government there in Washington D.C. But that goes on because that's what governments do. Governments fight. Governments kill people. Governments steal from people. Governments want to control people on what they do and how they act. But that's that. Anyways, that's all I had. I hopefully you got something out of this. If you liked it, hit like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And as always, stay vigilant. Yourself, your family, your health, and